Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to Soap Lore. I'm your host, Jeb, viewing and reviewing the soapiest, sudziest primetime storylines of 1985. We're on the West Coast, still doing the absolute most on our second scoop of the double scoop of Falcon Crest. So whether you're new to this or true to this, sit back and enjoy. Tell the kids it's time to play outside or out of sight. Tell Babe no questions, suggestions, or concerns for the next 25 to 45 minutes. Everyone else in earshot, be cool, be quiet, or you will be put out because we are watching our stories. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is Soap Lore. Hello, gorgeous. Welcome and welcome back to another fun-filled edition of Soap Lore. I hope your day is shaping up well. I am feeling myself. I hope the sound quality is better than the last couple of episodes. Your girl is trying her best, and I'm back on a better mic, so let me know how this feels, how it sounds on your ear holes, in your eardrums. Pardon me for putting that in such a weird way, but you know what it is and where it is. Yo, we gotta get back to Falcon Crest because Anna might be a little bit cuckoo. But before we do, go ahead and pour yourself up something bubbly and bright. I'm going to do the same, crack open this high-class can of Mingle that I got at the local Target. Cranberry Cosmo. I hope it is delightful. I actually don't know if I should be drinking this. This can is all sorts of warped. You can't get botulism from anything carbonated, right? It should be fine. Settle in as we enjoy Season 5, Episode 5 of Falcon Crest, Ingress and Egress. Before we get into this iconic episode, we got a little fan mail. I want to welcome a very special Falcon fiend to the Soap Lore family. Hello, Jet. I discovered your podcast a few months ago on the lookout for Falcon Crest stuff. I did watch all the series you cover, but Falcon Crest was always my favorite and holds a special place in my heart. Not sure if you've seen the entire series, so I will hold off on saying why it's my fave. I really love your Falcon Crest episodes. I started with the shows from the end of season 4. How awesome is the Avenging Angel? That's one of my favorite episodes of the series, and I've been listening since. I've decided to rewatch the series from the beginning thanks to you. It's been a while since I've seen it from the beginning. Then I'll check out your episodes. I love your monikers for everyone, but Leather Pants Pam is so damn special. I can't look at Sarah Douglas anymore without thinking that. Laugh out loud. Thanks. I wish I could say more. I'm not good at this sort of thing. But again, I really love your take on Falcon Crest. Thank you for doing these. I'm so glad I found Soap Lore. Regards, Crazy Mary T. Mary, welcome to the family, girl. I'm glad that you enjoy it too. We had a very fun exchange. And she did give me a little bit more insight. So let me jump down just because I thought this was so special. She says, so I'm older than you, so I've seen it live from season 3. My mom allowed me to stay up later on Fridays, and season 3 had Cliff Robertson as Michael, who was part of my crushes on older men, even as a teenager. I'm also mad that Emma didn't get to be with Michael. She had such a hard time in the love department. I went and started rewatching the series from season 1. Normally, I usually watch from the finale of season 4 to the middle of season 7. Those are my fave. What's the tea? She says, Richard is my favorite character. I was so happy when he joined the show. Maggie is also my favorite. That kiss with them and the Avenging Angels really made me think of them so differently. But as I watch and rewatch, I find that I'm liking other characters more and more. Emma, Lance, and Melissa, and some of the others you haven't met yet. I told you I liked your take on everyone. And again, after listening to the first episodes you did on Falcon Crest, I'm having a lot of fun. Here's some facts about the earlier seasons. Forgive me if I'm repeating anything you already know. I just love spreading my useless knowledge. Let me tell you something, Mary. This isn't useless to me. I am a new fan. This is a new favorite. Well, newish. I guess I've been watching for a few years at this point, but I really am enjoying being at this juncture because now I can find out things about people and it just adds something, especially with Falcon Crest, because the more I watch the show, the more I just know behind the scenes they were cutting up. I just know it. Okay, so the show was originally called The Vintage Years. The pilot was filmed with different actors as Chase, Maggie, and Richard. The character was in the pilot Okay, I guess you're saying that the characters in the pilot were different, but it was Chase, Maggie, and Richard. Jane Wyman wore a gray perm wig in that version. I think there's stuff about it on YouTube. If you look closely at Lance, whenever he's shirtless, you can see the faintest shadow of tattoos on his right bicep and right shoulder blade. Jane Wyman wasn't a fan of them, hence the covering. In season 2, Emma was on the run because Margaret Ladd was prego. I want to say she had twins. Oh my goodness. I'm trying to remember season 2 a little bit more. Season 2 is when we're introduced to Richard, right? So Richard comes in and, I guess she did have a lot of big purses. I'm going to have to go back and watch this. There's been a few times where I thought other people on the show were pregnant and they just happen to have bigger costumes. So I might step back and just sort of look at that to see what it is. But thank you. I love it when you guys share your knowledge. I especially love the part about your mom allowing you to stay up on a Friday. I love it. You had stories as a kid, and I think that is adorable. All right, guys, let's go ahead and jump into this episode. Shooketh from the very beginning. If you want to share some behind the scenes lore, some tidbits, maybe you met a couple of these people, let your girl know. You can reach out to me in the show notes. If you're listening to this on your mobile device, you'll find a link that says send us a text. You can send that. I can read them. I won't be able to text you back, but I will always, always, always acknowledge you guys. Or if you got a little more time and you want to drop a line the new old fashioned way, you can send me an email at soaplorepodcast@gmail.com. That's soaplorepodcast@gmail.com. Okay, they are zha-zhaing up the titles a little bit more, and I am here for it. Ingress and Egress. Ingress means the right or act of entering, while egress means the right or act of exiting. So who is coming and who is going? Well, you better hope it's our girl Angie. So at the top of the show, can I just say, I don't think we've met a worthier opponent, an opponent more worthy of the great Angela Permrod goddess Channing's time than her old school, almost neighbor, almost ex-stepmother to her would-be grandson, who is now a pastor, who drops panties. Actually, he's a priest. Anna has come through, and she's come through swinging. Angela's mouth was a little bit too slick when last we left. Let me refresh your memory. Angela called Christopher over. She also called Cassandra and her mama Anna over to drop the biggest bomb she could find. Anna, you set your own house on fire, Anna. You killed your own husband, and you did it because my oldest daughter stole him right from underneath your nose. Anna, of course, denies, as one would do. Then Christopher opens his mouth and says, oh, by the way, I am the baby between your husband and Angela Channing's baddie oldest daughter. And hey, nice to meet you. What's up, Cassandra? I'm your brother. Cassandra looks like she wants to vomit and pass out all at the same time. Anna wants everybody to shut the hell up. Cassandra, get up. Get up. Well, she didn't let that go. It's one thing to make a dramatic exit. It's one thing to cuss somebody out after or before making a dramatic exit. She didn't actually get to do that. So perhaps she went home and she started to think to herself, like, okay, you want to call me a fire starter? Bet. Let me see if I still got it. Sure enough, she finds a can of gas and a book of matches, and she makes magic happen. She turns Falcon Crest into the newest. Falcon Crest may or may not become one of the swankiest resorts on the West Coast, but it will be a barbecue within the next 15-20 minutes. She lights that aflame, stands back, admires her handiworks, and casually walks home. Now, when she gets back to the cottage, which is, by the way, still on Falcon Crest property, Cassandra looks like she's about 15 drinks in. She is not doing well. She's in a bad way. She's trying to put two and two together. Can you imagine the absolute devastation of knowing that you built your entire life, your entire image. You even built a fake image for this moment, for the moment to buy a piece of property and destroy it while another woman watches, only to find out that your mama, who you've always known is a little bit off, set the whole thing up herself. What do you do? This woman is at least 30 years old. She's dedicated her entire life to revenge. Now the revenge needs to happen to her mama. What do? She wants to talk. She wants to be sensible. She wants to be reasonable. But Anna, God bless an unself-aware villain. Anna is not in the business of having conversations with traitors. How dare you pick that How dare you pick that whole side over me, Anna? Excuse me, Cassandra. I saw the way you was believing everything Angela Channing said. You think I do that to you? You think I did that to my husband? You're a traitor. I guess if you're going to gaslight, you got to do it the right way, right? I sure hope this is loud enough. I'm not really sure where to put my mic. I'll just go back in and post. Anna's plan to barbecue Angela goes pretty well for about 10 minutes. She didn't really think of everything. You know what I mean? This was a spur of the moment decision. It is what it is. She's probably thinking, I've already been in and out of an insane asylum. That's all they're going to do is put me back in there. Let me just go and do what I got to do. What she didn't count on, though, is the fact that Angela's best friend and I think boyfriend, Chow Lee, and her grandson, Lance, are kung fu experts. So Lance, thank God, decided to cut his bender short. He pulls up to the house and it is all flambe. He's like, oh no, not a lot of emotion. We're doing a little bit of regressing in the acting department, but we're going to let it slide, okay? Lance immediately runs upstairs, knocks on Emma's door. Emma. Emma has no survival instincts. I think she's back on her medication. I feel like whimsical, totally off the meds. Emma would have figured out a way to slinky dink down the roof. She probably has some sort of apparatus in her closet that she pulls out from time to time to bungee from rooftop to rooftop. She seems like that type of person to me. But baby, on this episode, she is heavily medicated. She don't know what she's doing. She's spinning around in the hallway. And Lance is like, go down, girl, go on, get outside. So she starts running. Chow Lee's looking for the fire extinguisher. Lance kicks the door down, goes into his grandmother's room, calm as you will, picks her up, takes her down the hallway. Chow Lee is trying to put the fire out best he can with this little bitty 1 tank of fire retardant spray, makes it downstairs. Emma's spinning around. She can't figure out why the phone's not working well. Meanwhile, at Cassandra's crib, she's still trying to confront her mother, and a piece of wire, some wire cutters hit the ground real loud. She picks them up and she says, Mother, what is this? Don't worry about what it is. Cassandra knows her mother. God, she's done something. She comes running out of the house. She goes running. She can see the flames of Falcon crash. And she's like, oh my God, this woman. The headache. Anna has been out of the hospital or wherever she's been for 14 days and she has wreaked havoc on this poor girl's life. So Lance brings out Angela Permrock Goddess and she must be completely knocked out because she ain't saying a word. Okay. Emma's there. The ambulance is there. Anna comes stepping outside to make sure she wants to get a second look at her handiwork. She's observing the atmosphere with just pride. She looks so proud of herself, like, God dang, I'm still that ish. I'm still that girl. They used to call me a whopper because I keep it flame broiled and the chick ain't lost nothing over these years. She looks, and much to her chagrin, she sees an unconscious but not dead Angela Channing, not even burnt up. She's upset. Angela starts to stir. And the first thing she says is, you're making all that damn noise. Somebody turn off that siren. Lance is like, oh yeah, she good. She don't even need to go to the hospital. But you know what? Lines are crossed at this point. It's gone down. The next scene seems to be the following morning. I suppose everyone stood outside all night. If you're watching this with me, we're about at let's say the 5-minute and 30-second mark. I need you to watch this. Not for Cassandra, not for her mother. Not just because there is quite literally a brand new sheriff in town. Not that loser who had the surgery, who's really crappy at his job. We got a brunette baddie who was putting pieces of the puzzle together and quickly deducing that somebody, amen, not Angela, started this fire. Probably the woman dressed in all black with gloves on who is just gleefully admiring the charred frame of this historic home. if you can, just for a second, don't pay attention to them. Sometimes the extras in the back give it all they got. They're dancing extra hard at the disco. They're doing all the fake surgeries. They're playing the fake instruments. The firemen on this episode are doing amazing. Really running around. You really think they're doing something. There's this random woman standing in a pink blouse and a purple jacket, hands in her pocket. There are 3 or 4 school-age children in bright colors standing with their hands in their pocket, looking like children of the corn. Where did y'all come from? Falcon Crest is private property. Why are the locals breathing down her neck? Angela's on her porch in her nightgown. Thank God she has a dry perm. I think about this often because if that Jerry curl juice had hit about even half a spark, it would have been over for her. But I say that to say Angela Channing is not one to be seen in her pajamas on her front porch. I don't know who these weirdo kids are, but they're standing behind Cassandra as the police come up because they quickly found the lighter fluid and the matches. And Anna is still going on and on about how beautiful the resort is going to be. The sheriff, who looks oddly like Weird Wayne from Knots Landing, takes her by her shoulders and he's like, hey, you want to go for a ride? She's like, sure. Angela Channing must have been smoking cigarettes in bed. That happens a lot, you know. All right, baby. All right, mama, come on and get in this car. Before we get any deeper into the show, I have to I've said it a million times. I got to say it 1,000,001. Falcon Crest put that ish on. They are dressed to the nines. I promise you, I loved everyone's outfit. Well, okay, as I say that. Almost everyone's outfit. They seem to be pushing the color yellow super duper duper hard this season. And it's not that that's necessarily noteworthy if it's like a yellow t-shirt, some yellow pants, but they got the girls looking like pageant queens, big hair, big yellow, big bird, big Ronald McDonald, big whoever. It's a little clownish, it's a little kooky, but I'm here for it. I don't know why Falcon Crest insists on doing pageant hair for all of the baddies in the Bad Girls Club specifically, but it doesn't take away from this fantastic fashion. Never in my years of living did I, Jet Shay, think I would be admiring clothes from the 80s. I don't know what it is about Falcon Crest. These people are clearly wealthy, right? But it's not over the top glamour as on Dynasty, which I love too, by the way. It's just rich enough to be attainable. Maybe you don't have the Givenchy, but maybe you can get the Kmart special and spray a little static cling or something on it to make it look a little less cheap. I don't know. Or what's that Scots Guard crap? Something like that. I don't know who the costume designer is. I'm going to have to go back and look, but everybody looked fantastic. Melissa's even wearing this dress that kind of looks like wrapping paper at some point, and she's so cute. Okay, I'm trying to decide who we need to talk about. I think we need to talk about Maggie and Chase. So you remember on the last episode, she didn't necessarily get her memory back, but she started to believe that she was once in love with this man. Plus, she's at the house. She's a little bit lonely. Memory or not, she's still a full-grown woman. By episode's end, she returns to his arms and his bed. Now, here's a funny thing about Chase. It is no secret that I think he is one of the baddest baddies there is on 80s primetime, period, point blank. That's a good-looking man. I love his commitment to wearing aviator shades at all time. I love the fact that he keeps his perm fluffed and fresh at all time. But I also love the fact that he ignores the first 5 to 6 buttons on his shirt every single time. Chesticles out. He don't put no baby lotion, no Vaseline, nothing on him. He's just like, he goes all natural. Unless he's asleep. This man has the most buttoned up of all buttoned up. Think about it. Every time you see him in bed, or coming down to the kitchen to look at somebody out the side of his eye because he don't appreciate them being in his house at whatever hour, this man is in a full robe and full button-up pajamas. Now, you would think a man that proud of his chesticles would have them out for the world to see, especially at night, especially in the privacy of his own home. So, this poses a question, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Is Chase thotty? No judgment, okay? But do you think Chase likes attention? Is he a himbo? Just a little bit. I don't know. I don't know if they ever address it on the show, but I think if ever there's a reboot, we need to know why he needs to have his chest exposed at all times outside. But inside, he's covered up. I don't know. Maybe the AC is on like 65. I don't know. But I do know that he and Maggie had a very passionate night, at least on one of their parts. So we see them in bed, and Maggie is on her side watching Chase, talking about she's making new memories, just enjoying his profile. And he's like, oh, we made some new memories last night. He's like, so I'm wondering, maybe, I don't know. I don't want to speculate, but she can't really get into it because she's like, I kind of feel dirty. I feel a little promiscuous. He's like, lady, you're married. Lady, not only are you married, you got a whole grandbaby who is no longer calling you by your full government name, Margaret. But Margaret feels away. She says, I just feel like a fallen woman. I've never heard that term. So I'm assuming that is 50s word for a whore. Chase says, I have a remedy for that, darling. Why don't I ask you to marry me again? And then that way you'll be a married woman and we can continue to not fornicate in this marital bed. She says, you know what? That sounds like a plan. Enter Aunt Terry in her Chiquita Banana realness era. She's still got the honey boo boo toddler and tiara hair, but now she's got this off the shoulder bright yellow dress. Not hideous like I'm saying, but it's very noticeable. Terry is planning this wedding. Girl, who do you want to come? Who do you not want to come? Oh, dang, you don't remember nobody. So it's not like it matters anyway. Don't worry about anything. I'm going to take care of it. You're going to look so good, girl. We're about to have a party. I think Terry's a little bit bored. She's in a very big mansion all by her lonesome. Quick aside, since Terry married cousin Michael, I wonder what was his whole purpose of being on the show. He is an attractive man. I very much thought he was good looking. I need to go look up his name because I want to see what he looked like when he was really young. But I could see him being a good looking man. Him leaving her as his widow. Sometimes it feels like they only brought him in to be sort of the voice of reason for Chase in a lot of ways. And I suppose he needed to perform on Maggie with the first cryogenic brain tumor laser thing. But I often think, how quickly could they have gotten rid of Terry? Or where else, what could have happened? If Terry had not become a quote unquote honest woman, what would have become of her? I feel like they could have really, really played with Terry. And the night is young. This is only season 5. I don't know how long she's going to be on here. But I mean, she's already been on here 3 seasons. A lot of it to me seems like she's only on the show for sex appeal, but I could be wrong. Love to know what you guys think about that. Anyway, let's get to the actual wedding. So the wedding is a garden party. Seems like the entire freaking town has been invited. They're all having a wonderful time. And Maggie decides she's not going to wear white. She's going to wear gray, which I respect. Wear whatever color you want to celebrate your day. It is a good time. Here's the thing, though. When someone has amnesia, it is only a matter of time before you know if their memories are going to come back, or is it going to hit them all at once, or is it going to trickle in? On a soap opera, it seems to trickle in and then boom, there's like this major memory that happens. And hopefully you've got all your ducks in a row before that. Here's the thing with Chase. Chase is not telling the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. You can sort of look at this and say, you know what? It was a one-off with Connie. It was just one kiss. It was no big deal. But he knows that's the thing that happened. So part of me is thinking, he's like, let me just go ahead and lock this down one more time before she wake up and remember I ain't ish. That way she would have already re-fallen in love with me. And maybe I can lie and say it was just, maybe you bumped your head too hard, girl. That never happened. But he doesn't get a chance to do much because you know who? Angela Perm Rod Goddess shows up. No smoke inhalation damage. No char on her face. She don't smell like Burger King at all. She smells like money and trouble. So she makes a beeline to the bride. She says, Maggie, Maggie, my favorite play niece. I'm so proud of you. You are such an inspiration to all wives. The way you're able to turn a blind eye and just forgive everything. I really admire that. You're an example to all of us. Maggie's doing that weird laugh where she's not quite sure what to say. Okay, huh? Well, what do you mean? Oh, well, Chase's affair with Giannini. You don't remember? Yeah, girl. I think it is so impressive that you and Chase can get married even after he and Connie Giannini had an affair. No sooner than she gets the word out of her mouth, the aviator Adonis comes floating up, looking like a whole snack. And Maggie's like, oh, word. Okay, that's what we're doing. She immediately takes off running. Chase is like, what did you say to her? She's like, I ain't saying nothing, nephew. I'm gonna go get a to-go plate. Bye. Oh my goodness, I forgot a really important part. Richard also shows up. I guess to be kind. It's his brother and, whatever. He goes to congratulate Maggie. This is all before Angela, by the way. He goes over to congratulate Maggie and he's like, if you ever change your mind, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I know what you're saying, Richard. Is this what you're saying? Although I'm not as gleeful as I was when the kiss originally happened, I still am not mad at that possible combination, especially if she doesn't get her memory back anytime soon. I think it makes a lot of sense. And based on the rest of this episode, baby, she might just be on her way. Also at the wedding, or would be a wedding, Cousin Baskin Robbins is bibbity boppity booing around the champagne, even though she's pregnant. But I got to get over this. Millennial mothers drink. It is what it is. No. Excuse me. Millennials mothers drink, not millennial moms now while they're pregnant. At least I don't think so. Anyway, she slink-a-dinks over to Lance. She says, hi. You know what this mother lover says with a straight face? Well, not yet. Hopefully soon. Lorenzo. Now, based on what this man said, I'll still say allegedly, but based on what this man said, he got high pretty regularly on the show. I wonder if he was high when he said that, but he's working on it. I'm not high yet, but you know what I'm saying? Okay, that's cute. Thanks, Lance. Emma also tells Maggie, I'm so jealous. You're getting married for the second time. I can't even get married the first time. I be forgetting that sometimes. Emma didn't have any children. She can't pick the right man, but nobody does on a soap opera, right? I hope at some point she either turns heel or gets herself a real baddie. I kind of thought, I know this is horrible, but I kind of thought her and the Nazi kid would have made a good enough couple had he stuck around. Had Riker not gotten Star Trek, it might have been a whole nother situation, but let's stop teasing her. What's the point of bringing them in, bringing them out? Also, I want her back off of her meds. I'm not a fan of on the meds, Emma. Speaking of Red Robin, yum, she's got to go. Cole and Melissa decided that it is best for their marriage and their home. Robin no longer flitter about the house. Robin is all packed and ready to leave, while Melissa and Cole are in a warm embrace at the foot of the stairs. Melissa feels a little bit bad for having to give her the boot, runs up the stairs offering to help carry Robin's bags. Only Robin is acting like Melissa is running up to attack her. She's like, oh my God, no. Next thing you know, she's down the steps. Boom, 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 boom. I'm not proud of the fact that I laughed. However, I'm also not ashamed. But the weirdest part of that scene is that my mind immediately went to Death Becomes Her. Yeah, Meryl Streep, fresh back from the youth serum appointment, trips and falls all the way down the steps, spine all discombobulated or whatever. And that made me laugh even harder. And then I think about that scene where Meryl Streep says to Goldie Hawn, you're a lie, you're a cheat, and I see right through you. Bends over, she sees through the hole in her stomach. And then I cackled. And then I said, Jet, get yourself together. This pregnant woman just fell down. Seems to me like that was a plan. The doctor comes by and he says, everything is Gucci and golden. You'll be fine. You just need to rest up for a couple of days. That girl, Melly Mel, feels really bad that her cousin slipped and followed all the way down the stairs. And she tells her as much. Robin, I'm so sorry, girl. I hate that this happened to you. Robin says, likely story. You can't wait to get rid of me, but guess what? Now I can't leave. You remember the doctor said that I'm hurt and I got to stay in bed. I got to stay here. I can't leave. I can't go to my own apartment. I have to stay here now. I'm going to need a real pregnancy test at some point because that California raisin pillow of a baby bump, disappears all the time. But let's talk about Bad Girl Melly Mel. She actually was remorseful. She felt bad that her cousin fell down the steps, but she's got her own business to attend to this episode. I'm happy to report that Christopher and his baby brother Lance, double mint twins, 2 scoops of extra fine straight from the loins of Miss Julia Cumpson, the wine scientist, kookaloo mass murderer. He's embracing the fact that he has a little bit of a family now, but it's not quite complete if he doesn't know who she is. It's Pastor Penny Dropper tells Big Perm wants to meet his mom. It is high time that this happened. She's immediately like, no, come on now. You don't. Why? Who needs a mom? You don't need a mom. You have a grandma. You have a little brother. You have a sister. What do you need with a mother? Angela is trying her best to stay off of Julia's bad side, and this definitely ain't going to work. Eventually, she relents because it is the right thing to do. So, Father Christopher knows he's going to go meet his mom. In order to do that, he's going to need to leave the valley for a few days, maybe even a week or so. So what does he have to do? He has to tell his favorite new client, bad girl Melly Mel, fresh out of jail, not on bail no more, definitely on parole. He decides to drop by and tell her the news in person rather than do it over the phone only. When he shows up, Doris, the housemaid, leads him to the backyard where bad girl Melly Mel is taking an afternoon to keep cool from being so hot. She comes floating to the surface with a big smile on her face because who's here? Father Christopher. And he actually, for the first time, looks up and down like, dang. Ugh. Whew. He apologizes for not calling before he got here. He said, don't be silly. Mind you, Doris, the housemaid, is still there and she is looking father up, down, and up. Melissa excuses her and he breaks the news. Hey, I'm going to go meet my mom. Mel is like, you know how I feel about your mama, right? The one who tried to pop a cap in my dad's, well, she did pop a cap in my dad's head, but I'm not a fan of her. But I mean, you got to do what you got to do. I totally understand that. He's like, okay, cool. Well, I need you to also understand that Father Bobby's going to be helping you out while I'm gone. This is such a good scene because the chemistry is palpable. You can tell that they're both attracted to each other, but they are also equally committed to doing the right thing. Melissa asks Chris, as she calls him, they are on a first name, short name basis. Chris, are you coming back? To which he replies, why is it so important to you? Not quite the response you would expect from a priest. She says, well, it's because you and I, we talk so well together. You're just easy to talk to and I really like. She then decides to dip her toe in the proverbial water. Chris, is it a sin to want something you can't have? To which he replies rather professionally, in not so many words. It's okay to have the thought. One thing to be tempted. It's one thing to give in to temptation. And you, my dear, can fight temptation. I don't know. I've never really been good at that. Don't underestimate yourself. I like this because the kid is keeping it professional. He could very well, who knows what's going through his mind right now. He needs to figure out who he is, who his mama is and all that. And you can tell she's like, maybe it's just he's the only person who's really listening to her at this point. This is probably her first real friend on the show. But the tension is oh my goodness. So later on in the show, he actually does get to meet his mother, who is also on some sort of medication like her baby sister. She takes to him. They are natural. It is easy. She is gleeful. She's okay, even though her mother told her, I lied to you oh so many years ago. Like, you know what? That's cool. The old me might have flipped out and borrowed some leather gloves and maybe beat you to death with a candlestick, but I'm going to just let it ride this time. You're old, I'll let it ride. Her also being at a convent works really well when your son's a priest because she invites him to hang out for afternoon prayers or whatever. He happily obliges. The connection has been made and it was beautiful. I do wonder why Abby Dalton floats in and out of the story so often. She hadn't been fully featured since seasons 1 and 2. She seems to be on maybe 6 or 7 episodes per season. So I wonder if her career was really picking up at this time. She's doing bigger projects. I'm not really sure, but I know she's cool with her back from the grave baby boy. So things are starting to come around for good. Pastor Panty Drop. He has a relationship with his mom now. He has a relationship with his baby brother now. Let's go get my sister, right? Wrong. Cassandra is confused. She is having a very similar identity crisis now that she understands that her mom is solely responsible for the death of her dad. So shortly after her mother is picked up, Cassandra visits her and it is abundantly clear that mom left off her rocker. She has no remorse. And Cassandra is forced to face the fact that she has been a pawn in all of this. So she has 2 choices. She can let bygones be bygones, try to salvage a relationship that she has with her mom and continue selling advertising space. Or she can continue to carry out this grudge. So I'm shocked on the next day when Cassandra shows up to Angela Channing's home base lair, aka her office, with, I thought, her hat in her hand. No, not at all. Not at all. Angela says, listen, baby girl, you and I are victims of your mother. I'm letting you know right now, I'm not going to treat you any different just because your mom was a kookaloo crazy hoe who tried to kill me. Unsuccessfully, mind you, because my grandson, that is, knows Kung Fu. So I'm going to let it ride. Matter of fact, I am prepared to buy back all of Falcon Crest at a very generous price. I'm not trying to steal no money from you, baby girl. We can call it even Stevens. Scratch my back, I scratch yours. We can go on and move on with our lives. Cassandra is not having it. She's like, you know what? I still plan on making you suffer, lady. It'll be a cold day in hell when I sell anything to you. It is worth noting that Cassandra walked in with that infamous bright yellow color. Only hers is in a blazer and her undershirt is this sort of reddish orange. She looks like Ronald McDonald. I thought she was dressed as a clown because her mother is a clown and she needed to present herself as such in order to win Angela's favor. That is not the case. She came in there to stunt and she's going to end up looking like a clown for real. Because at this point, the only person interested in investing in this property or buying it is Mr. Strawboss, who is AKA one of Angela's many booskies that she keeps on ice. So Cassandra meets him on his boat and she explains the whole situation. Like, listen, I normally wouldn't do this, but I really hate that witch, Angela Channing, and I need to watch her suffer. Only reason I'm selling any of this to you is because I know you hate her like I hate her. Well, she's not really paying attention to his body language or his smile or even the words he says because he agrees to buy it and he says, I guarantee you, Cassandra, Falcon Crest could not be in better hands. Flash forward to a couple days later, Strawboss is still trying to woo Angela Channing. I don't know if I mentioned this on the last couple of episodes, but he definitely proposed to her and she's like, I don't really need to be married like that. But I appreciate you doing me all these favors and whatnot. So when Cassandra sees him pulling up to the wine house, she thinks he's just coming to check out his new investment. I mean, who wouldn't do that? Only before she can get to the pleasantries from her new buyer, ink's already dry on the contract and whatnot. Angela Permrod God Channing comes strutting out, hair not blowing in the wind because it is stiff as a brick. She has sprayed that ish down. She saunters right over to Peter and plants a big old platonic kiss on the side of his face. Big hug. Cassandra can't believe what's in front of her. Wait, do you know her? You know Angela? Angela's like, yes, baby, he knows me and he knows me well. He knows me so well that he bought back my property for me. Come now, Peter. Charlie has prepared a succulent lunch for us. We're going to have so much fun eating on my brand new, grand old property. Cassandra has nothing left to say. This is the second time this episode she's had egg on her face. All she can do is be like, all right. It ain't over, Angela. She sounds like Ike Turner did. Remember when... When Tina was about to perform at her sold out rock show, he showed up with the flowers and the pistol. She's like, do what you gonna do, homie. I whooped you in the back of limo once. I can do it again. I can do it in the front seat, back seat, wherever you need it, homeboy. She has no choice but to eat crow. I will say this, though. I do not trust Peter any further than I can throw him. I am incredibly suspicious of him. He's too eager. He wants her too bad. And I think you can only take so much rejection. Also, by the end of this episode, it is not clear whether or not he has signed over anything to Angela. I don't think he has. He strikes me as the type to be like, all right, babe, marry me and I'll make sure you get what you get. Then she'll probably marry him and push him off the side of a cliff like she did her brother. So as I'm watching this show on Plex, I, for whatever reason, decided to watch it from the beginning. I watched the opening credits. I didn't skip them this time. And I'm glad I did because I thought for a split second I saw the name Apollonia and I thought, oh, that's unique. This being a show about an Italian-American family in their vineyard, I thought maybe this is an Italian actress, blah, 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 blah. No, not at all. So let's jump back to Lance real quick. Lance is in the city in San Francisco, enjoying his nightlife, waiting on the check at this table in this very happening hip club. Live music is blasting. He seems to be okay. He's sitting at a table, not by the bar for some reason. The waitress comes by. And I was looking down as she started to talk, but I heard her voice and I thought, oh my God, is that? I look up into my shock and utter delight. I see Apollonia, the Apollonia, Princess Apollonia of Vanity 6. I can't even tell you how many unlocked memories this scene gave me. To add to the plethora of movies I had no business watching that young, Purple Rain. I've definitely seen Purple Rain and Graffiti Bridge. She was not in Purple. I think she was also in, what's the one with Bruce Leroy and Shonuff? I'm pretty sure she was in that movie. It's not her. It's a girl who looks extremely like her. Because all of this was happening long before I'm 10 years old, I have memory of them. And I'm assuming they were on a lot because of the memories I have of them. Purple Rain and Graffiti Bridge sort of blend together, but her voice is so distinctive. Like, she's one of the first voices I remember, and you better believe I know every word to Nasty Girl. That is my jam. So I was pumped to see her, and she's playing this sort of nightclub waitress who is working many, many shifts so that she can go ahead and sing. Well, she's gorgeous. So naturally, people start hitting on her. Drunk, yuppie bros start trying to grab on her, and she's trying to be cool, but Lance is there, and he's like, well, let me go on and be the hero real quick. He stands up real cool, like, yo, keep your hands off the lady. Dude mouths off to him. Next thing you know, Kung Fu kicks in, flips, whip, swap, swap, slams the dude on the table, grabs his arm, and is like, I'll snap this stuff off if you don't back up, back up. The dude decides to back up, back up. Then he offers a ride home. She's apprehensive because she don't know this dude like this. Plus, she just got fired. Her boss does not appreciate dirty creeps who put their hands all over women being kicked out of his sleazy establishment. This is the vibe here, girl. Get felt up or kicked out. Unfortunately, she's kicked out. This is where Lance offers her a ride home, and she's like, absolutely not. So he tosses her the keys and says, well, why don't you drive? She drives to her house, lets him know her name is Apollonia, and she can't go out with him any later because she has an audition tomorrow. Lance just so happens upon the audition. The producer is not feeling it. He's like, all your stuff sound exactly the same. Are we going to get down or no? He's like, no, I'm not getting down. I'm not going to sell my body just so I can get a record deal. Well, this is music to Lance, because just in case Baskin Robbins falls through and just in case Aunt Terry falls through, you gotta keep them lined up, right? Plus, this is a totally different flavor. He says, listen, lady, is it just me? Or have we seen this before? Have we seen this on Dallas, where Afton is a budding musician and she has all these sets that we get to hear at least once an episode? Haven't we seen this on Knots Landing, where our good sister CG is singing early 80s rock ballads, and Care Bear lady whose name escapes me was also weird like CG. Didn't she have a couple musical numbers on the show? This is the one time I really want to hear somebody sing. I need to hear Nasty Girl on this. I need to hear it. I kind of don't think it's going to happen. But either way, we have an icon. We have one of my core memories singing on this here show. But I think that's such a weird, it's not a coincidence, right? It can't be a coincidence. So season 4, season 5 is where we start to decide to bring in musical numbers. I mean, I guess if you think about it, if this is primetime television, all eyes are on this. Soap operas are at their height. It makes sense if you need the exposure to be on as many shows as possible. But the singer-actress trope is not what I was expecting. But I am here for it. I want to hear Apollonia do her thing. So Lance is now in the music business, just like Gary, just like Kenny, and just like J.R. Dynasty, time to step your game up, baby. Oh, no, they have. Where are my manners? We got Dominique Donut Hole on there about to start singing, doing a rendition of whatever she does. Richard, you remember Richard set up the whole scheme to have to draw his killer out of hiding, wore a bulletproof vest, ended up shot for real. It hurt real bad. He's in the hospital. He has 3 days to figure out who the killer is. And then he's got to give up that hospital bed because after all, this is a county hospital. Well, he's chilling in the bed one day when in walks a nurse. She's got her face covered. Chick picks up a scalpel, heaves it high above her head with both hands, goes to plunge it down only to have Richard wake up just in the nick of time and wrestle with her and yell, help, help, help. Police and everybody come running in, snatches the woman's mask off, and she's just looking weird with that smirk. She looks like Bridget Nielsen. I'm like, okay, who the hell is this? Richard and I are apparently on the same page. He says, who the hell are you? Richard, did you not hear the swish, swish, swish of leather entering the room? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we have our first face-off on Falcon frickin' Crest. Yes, who's back from the dead? I knew my girl wasn't gone. Leather Pants Pam, a.k.a. LPP, is back in the building with a vengeance. Now, baby girl, I was disappointed. You know how many times you got to stab somebody with a scalpel to do any damage? Really? Girl, bye. They use scalpels in surgery. I'm not going to go there. But Richard's like, you ain't Pam. Leather Pants Pam. I don't hear no swish swish. I don't smell any sort of moistening balm for leather. You're even like 3 or 4 inches shorter. Who the heck are you? She's like, no, I got a new face. I learned in the cartel. to get a new face. He goes, but your voice even sounds different. Actually, he doesn't say all that there. He orders her to be snatched away and taken to the house, not to the police station. So eventually, he goes home and he's riding his exercise bike. And I have to admit, I was incredibly jealous of his tracksuit. Fantastic. 10s across the board fashion episode. It was perfect. I was so envious. Chase and the sheriff come by because Richard is out of the hospital. They're waiting on this press conference where he is supposed to announce who the killer is. He tells them that he was bluffing. But clearly it didn't work. I just had to leave the hospital. I assumed somebody would try to kill me. It just didn't happen. So why is he covering for Leather Pants Pam? Part of me feels like it's because he's still a little bit sweet on her. They definitely have a past. She knows all of his deep, dark secrets. When we see her again, she is actually back to herself. She is in Michael Jackson Thriller, red and black, and she's got on her custom and signature leather pants. Richard decides he's going to just shake her down. Now, I did you a good favor, my good sister. I could have turned you over to the police, but I didn't. So, I'm going to need you to give me all the money that you stole from me by essentially buying up whatever. You remember the deal where Angela was like, I could not have done that better myself. And Leather Pants Pam is not surprised. She's like, wow, you are so predictable. He's like, I am predictable, but I'm also in a pinch. I'm also broke, and I'm going to need you to go ahead and pay up, or I'm going to turn you over to the authorities. She is not playing games with him, but apparently she agrees this episode that that's what she's going to do. The thing about this lady, though, is she doesn't quite have a British accent. It is vaguely European, and she does favor Leather Pants Pam in a lot of ways, but she looks a lot like Bridget Nielsen. Is that Neeson? Am I saying it right? The chick from Rocky, the one Beverly Hills Cop, the one who used to date Flavor Flav. That's who I'm thinking of. She looks like her shorter little sister and a mix between the original Leather Pants Pam. But either way, I'm glad to have our girl back. Speaking of having our girl back, let's talk about the way Chase fumbled his whole bride. He wasn't upfront. He didn't tell her what really had happened. She found out an ugly way, and of course, he don't have the ability to lie, so she knows it's true. Something went down between he and Connie G and Nene. Only she don't know who Connie G and Nene is. So flash forward to the end of the episode. Chase and Cole are at the vineyard. Connie's vineyard, by the way, the one that she so generously left to Chase. When all of a sudden, this beautiful town car pulls up. Some tall, unremarkable man jumps out. He looks left, he looks right, he looks up, he looks down. Once he decides that the coast is clear, he motions to the car. He gives a little hand gesture, and to my shock, horror, and utter surprise, Connie G and Nene, toddlers and Tiara do come floating out of the vehicle. So turns out, tall, nondescript man happens to be the finest champagne maker in all of Europe. Connie G and Nene didn't run away because she was devastated by the affair. Connie G and Nene ran away because encouraged, emboldened even, by the affair. She went and found a champagne master and brought him back to her paramour, who, by the way, is wearing a long sleeve vertical striped shirt. He is paired it with a denim vest, and he decided neither one of them hold. But we are down 6 buttons. All of his chesticle hair is on display in daylight because somebody comes pulling up in a 57 Bel Air. Because clearly Maggie didn't come to kumbaya with him. She came to confront him. She wants to know why. Why didn't you tell me about Connie? I guess he's not into lying, or maybe he's just caught up in the moment thinking he's about to have the world's most fantastical champagne out of the valley. He tells her, honey, you're being rude to our guests. Turns around and Connie's like, hi, I'm Connie G and Nene. Dun, dun, dun. End scene. I like what I'm seeing here, Falcon Crest. I like it a lot. Now, how do y'all think this is going to go? I know those of you who've already seen it, you have an idea. But for those of us watching it for the first time, she can't very well confront her without full knowledge, right? She's not going to be like old Maggie, where she is accommodating, how do you do? La, la, la. She can't do that because now she already pissed. I would be even more pissed if this man turns to me and tells me, hey, you're being rude to our guest. You mean the lady you had an affair with? This is fantastic. Especially with Apollonia. Hopefully we get a few more songs. I wonder if Prince is. I doubt it. All right, guys, that's it. That's all for this episode of Soap Lore. Thank you for joining me for a double scoop of Falcon Crest. Join me next time as we get 2 scoops of Dallas. In the meantime, in between time, elope, elope, elope. Even if you're already married, even if your significant other has amnesia, why would you have a whole wedding and invite the messiest relatives? You had it coming, James. Fine. You played yourself. Stay hydrated, stay moisturized, mind your own business, and keep all of your drama on TV.